Dawn by Octavia Butler was published in 1987 by Grand Central Publishing. This is the first book in the Xenogenesis trilogy. Pretty much takes place with the main character named Lily Iapo, who suddenly just wakes up on an alien ship with kind of no memory of how she got there or what has happened the last several months, last several years, really. All she can remember is like a war, like a big war that happened right before she kind of like went out or blacked out. And so she wakes up and finds a race of bizarre and weird and terrifying looking aliens called the Oankali. She's pretty much the only human she sees for like years. I believe they said like what 10 years or something close to that. She was kind of like by herself with the Oankali. Yeah, so the Oankali tell her that there was a great war and that her species was almost completely wiped out, and they have, I don't know, gathered a bunch of humans together and tried to recreate their home world on their ship because they have some kind of weird fascination with the human beings now, and it almost seems like they're like a zoo is from what I'm reading into this. I mean, zoo might be too harsh a word, but more like some kind of weird experiment or something that they're doing with humans because they're able to this in the book. The Oankali are saying that they're able to replicate humans by using DNA, but they don't like to do that because it's not like the true thing or something, and they really want to kind of like get into like the genetics of human beings, making other human beings spliced with Oankali DNA, and it kind of gets really weird and invasive kind of from there. Then so eventually, Lily is in charge with like opening up or waking up other humans, and Lily tells them flat out like that's not going to work exactly because the Owen Collie has given Lily like some powers, so like she can kind of like control the ship and do some other stuff. She's like a lot stronger or whatever than like the average human. And so she's kind of telling the Oankali this not going to work. Human beings are going to like look at her as a weirdling or alien herself. And like so the Oankali doesn't really know that much about human behavior. They know the like how to work the DNA and all that, but they don't know that much about like human behavior. And so Lily is kind of like their branch in between, kind of, and she's trying to talk to like the Oankali and let him know that this it's a bad idea. And she can't she doesn't for sure know if she is on a ship or on Earth some of the times because they have like this area in the ship that like replicates like a jungle or rainforest from Earth, and she doesn't even know if Earth still exists. So a lot of this she is taking their word for it. You know what I mean? And so yeah, one thing leads to another. It all, as Lily predicts, it all falls apart. People start dying, people start rebelling, and they kind of find out, okay, that it might be true. There might not be BS in us. This might be an alien ship that we're on. Earth may or may not be in existence still, but the Oankali are saying that it is. But they need to make sure that the humans can like survive and self-sustain before they take them back to Earth. Oh, but again, before that, we want to find ways to interbreed with your species as well. So yeah, that is kind of the first book in a nutshell. What I like about it, Octavia Butler's writing, basically. She is before N.K. Jemisin was doing kind of fantasy, like a black author kind of excelling in fantasy. Octavia Butler was there first. She kind of laid the groundwork. first. She was like kind of like the lead voice in like Black or African American like fantasy or sci-fi literature. I think mostly she wrote sci-fi. I don't think she did any like fantasy, like high fantasy or anything like that. I haven't come across it yet, so I think it's pretty much just sci-fi from her. And yeah, it's pretty much a masterfully written sci-fi dystopian bleak cynical tale. That I I can get my head around that because I'm my mode most times is kind of like bleak and dystopian, especially if I watch like the news. But yeah, it really has this kind of like this really grim tone about it, this grim air about it, that it sustains throughout the whole novel. Like it starts off really bleak with Lily waking up and not knowing where she is, and she's on. Come to find out, she's on the ship, and then there's these bizarre looking Oankali, these alien creatures that it takes a while for her to kind of get used to, and the and I love how she writes like these are like true aliens. I think that's why there hasn't been a movie adaptation of this yet. Hopefully, they're working on it. I know Hulu is streaming Kindred now, so I can't wait to. I'm definitely going to watch that and review that. But this will be a challenging adaptation, I think, mainly because of the Owen Collie. Uh, she writes these as like very alien. This is like, I mean, dare I say, beyond H.P. Lovecraft, like writing of aliens. It's she kind of captures that writing where like you're trying to imagine it as you're reading it or listening to it. In my case, I listen to this on Audible. But yeah, and it kind of makes your brain work against you because you're like trying to imagine like the weirdest, the worst looking thing you can possibly like imagine, and then you saying like, okay, no, 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 stop, don't do that. Right? Yeah, it's very bleak, it's very dystopian, but at the center of the story is basically like a critique on humanity, like the nature of humanity. Like I said, she was tasked with like waking up other human beings so they can kind of like learn to like work together, live together, and survive in like a rainforest type scenario, so that when the Oankali, because they promise once they kind of like see that they can sustain themselves, they will drop them down on Earth, so they can like rebuild as a species, like build up the human race again. But Lilith is basically saying that's yeah, it sounds good. It sounds good on paper, right? And sure enough, it turns out to be true. Things kind of fall apart. I won't go into specifics. I try not to do like spoiler kind of things in this, especially. I really want people to read this. Like this is an excellent sci-fi book, and yeah, it critiques humanity, and most specifically, it's a critique of men as well. I definitely felt that tone reading this because again, she's supposed to be like the leader of this group of people, and it's they Owen Collie completely leaves it up to her, like who she wants to wake up. They leave the whole plan like up to her basically, and she woke up all the women, well, not all, but like mainly women first, and like try to get them on the main page because she had in her mind that like men only lead to violence, and men will like mess up the whole thing. And without spoiling it, she was kind of right. But yeah, but I can't, and the whole time I'm sitting there like I can't. I want to argue against your points, Miss Butler, but you ain't wrong. Yeah, the other thing I really like about this, very alien aliens. I think I said that already, but yeah, it stands out. It very much stands out. These are like very bizarre looking aliens in this story. They have like tentacles, like a body full of tentacles, and like they have this main tentacle arm or something like that that grows out of like beneath their armpits or whatever. And I for one can appreciate that as, someone who might have written about aliens with tentacles and green goo. Uh, Found in Mulch, the first thrilling novella from Maniacal Books. Available in Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes& and Noble, and mcsbooks.com. But I digress. Again, they're hard to look at. They got tentacles, and these are some freaky aliens. Like, these some nasty aliens. They kinky like that. Like, they get down like that. They like, oh, we ready. We ready to intermingle with y'all. Like, we just been waiting for y'all to catch up. I'm saying, like, oh, we've been ready. And with the ending to this too, we found out that they may or may not have kickstarted that whole interspecies intermingling situation they got there. And I can't wait to read the second story in this, in the Xenogenesis saga. But I'm a bit apprehensive just because I don't know what a human Oankali thing would even look like. I'm a little apprehensive on that, but I can't wait to get into it. Oh, what I don't like about this, I cannot say there's not that much I don't like about it. The only thing I could think of is it takes a little while to get into it. I can't knock it that much because it's like she did a really good job of kind of setting up what's happening, what's going on, and Lilith as a character, and it's masterfully done. It works with the kind of like the isolation because you're in the only thing you have to go on that we can relate to on a human level is Lilith because everybody else is aliens there, and like she writes them as they look alien, they act alien, they sound alien. These are not of planet Earth, right? These are completely different alien beings. And so when you finally do meet another human being with Lilith, basically, like you're in there with Lilith, and it goes left, and it's just like, again, that's when I said that critique with men. So like the first time she sees a human, it's with another man, and again, the Owen Collie come off as they want to put up this kind of like altruistic front, but they ain't right. They're a little devious too. And I kept the first inkling of that is when they put Lilith and that other guy together for the first time, just to see. It's almost like, oh, well, let's just hang back and just see what's gonna happen, right? We just gonna see what come out of it, and it did not go well. So yeah, no, this is an amazing book. I don't know what took me so long to read Octavia Butler. I hadn't heard about her until, I don't know, I want to say like a decade or so ago. But yeah, still, it took me a little while to kind of get around to her, and I'm happy I did. Yeah, I'm in the Xenogenesis series right now. I'm going to check out Kindred. I hear that's really good. I can't wait to finish this series so that I can then start a Parable of the Sower. I believe that's what it's called. Hold on, let me make sure I get that right. Yeah, so I am on my deep dive with Octavia Butler right now, and she passed away in '06, which really sucked because I wish she was still around now that I'm actually like getting into her and like starting to read her. But yeah, the first one I'm into, excellent. Love the book. It's from beginning to end like a very compelling read, and it gets you into it. Yeah, this is a 5 out of 5 for me. Can't wait to read the other two, even though, man, the Oankali human hybrid thing, I'm not looking forward to seeing that thing.